So we have almost 20 people, so I think we can start with a little introduction. So thank you everybody for finding the time for the Neptune and CureGN DPR training for pathologists. We have today on the Zoom call pathologists from the Neptune study, pathologists from CureGN study, or those who participate to both. We have NIDDK, who we need to thank for supporting this the DPR, and the DPR will be is hosted at NIDDK, and we have also a member of the Indica laboratory as a support, but they have been very helpful to the DPR team in putting this together and the infrastructure, organize it, etc. So we have been working closely with them as well as an IDDK. This section is recorded. We will start with a short slide presentation just to go over the different function, what we can do, what we cannot do, and then we'll go and try and do the same thing live, so navigating the DPR. But we thought that it would be good just to have it organized at first on a PowerPoint presentation. We will start with Colleen, who will present how to create a login.gov account to have access to the DPR.
Thanks, Laura. So hopefully you guys are seeing my slides.
Yeah.
Great. So the DPR will be accessible via Halo Link, which is Indica Lab software, but the user management and access we're going to use is via login.gov. And so the first step is that you need a login.gov account. The instructions for how to do that are available here, which we'll make sure everybody has that link. What is different is that those instructions indicate the recommendation to use a personal account. For DPR access, we need that login.gov account to be associated with your institution through which you are affiliated with Neptune or Cure. So that helps us in that regard. So once you have that login.gov account, you can send an email to the email address shown from your institutional account. So you send it to DPR_admin, and we'll get the email. We'll confirm that you're on our list of people who we think we should be giving access to. We'll match that up, and then we can make you a viewer of the appropriate study, Neptune or Cure or both, depending on what you need and what you're allowed to have, and we'll make you a viewer. And then you will get an email just kind of automated through the system, but we'll also follow up with you just to make sure that doesn't get stuck in your spam. And then once you have that, you can go to this URL that's provided, which again, we'll make sure everybody has. And you'll see, I think you have this, Laura, in your presentation. Yeah. I should probably stop here.
So, so let me share my screen. Okay. So you see my slides. So creating a login, Colleen just went over this. Now, how do I access the DPR? This is the link, DPR NIDDK NIH.gov/studies. And what you will see is the Halo Link page with a green background. It looks like immunofluorescence background. And you want to make sure that you're always here. And so to log in, you have to make sure that you have the NIH login listed here, and you click on login with NIH login. Just a note, if you enter a page where there is no green background, you're on the wrong page. For example, it happens to me, so I don't know if it will happen to you, but when I put this link and this other link comes up and has a white background. And so I have to delete this part, the tail, to be back again in the green background Elo link access page. So,
I'm sorry, Laura, this is Agnes. Does it matter which browser you use? I've just dealt with another form. After trying 3 browsers, I had to download another browser of Microsoft Edge. Does it matter which browser we use?
I wouldn't know. I wouldn't know how to answer that question. I don't know if Indica, who is on the call, can answer that question.
Yeah, absolutely, Laura. Either Google Chrome or Firefox are going to be the browsers to go with.
So not Safari, Chrome or Firefox.
Correct.
Thank you.
So when you are in, you will find this page. So you want to ignore this first part, also ignore this second part in the middle, and click on login.gov. They will direct you into this page where you have to add your email address and your password as you create it, and then click on sign in. Every 24 hours, you will have to re-enter the security code, a list, this is what I noticed. And so you'll be directed to, you will receive a security code. I receive it on my cell phone. You type it, you submit, and then you will be directed in this page where you grant sharing consent. So you have to click on grant, not deny. And now you're into the DPR. So I'm part of CureGN as well as Snapshot, so I have access to both studies. And this is where I will be directed. So when you click the word studies, you will always see the numbers, all the studies you're part of. If you click on, sorry, let me go back. One slide. So I want to enter Neptune, or I want to enter CureGN. Then I have to click on the folder I want to access. I chose to access the Neptune DPR, and this is what I see, just because I have a little bit more folders available to me than the majority of pathologist investigators. But forget for a second the escrow folders. Inside the Neptune DPR, the cases are organized based on disease, on the disease category. So we have FSGS, we have C1Q, IgA, and membranous. If I want to enter into the FSGS folders, and click on the folder, and I will have 2 other folders available to me. So differently what we have done in the past, in the previous DPR, we have separated the EM from the OSLIDE images. You will not access the cases, you will not have the patient folder, specific patient folder with EM and OSLIDE images, but you will access the patient's images in a different way, and I'll go over that. So I'm in the FSGS, I have OSLIDE images, EM. I want to see OSLIDE images. I will click on it, and this is what comes up, another folder called Group A. Group A folder contains all the images that have been collected so far, basically what we transferred from the old DPR. And as we will move on, we will add folders, for example, all the cases and images that we'll receive and scan from now on will be under a different folder that we will name 2022-2023. I want to go into Group A folder, so now I'm in the Neptune DPR, FSGS, OSLIDE images, Group A. And now I can see all the OSLIDE images that are available. So let's navigate this for a second. First of all, which type of information I have available, and those are listed here in the metadata bar. So the first column has the image ID. This is automatically generated as we scan the cases. So each image has a specific image ID. Generally, you don't need to, you won't need this in most of the time. The second column is the name of the image. That contains the first set of number, so the 0_1537. That indicates, that is the biopsy ID. So it's specific for each biopsy, each patient. Then you have A, because those are cases, you are in group A. And then you have another series of number that is specific to this image. The barcode, we don't have anything here. We have the stain listed, red, H&E, silver, trichrome, etc. The time when the image was created. The disease, each image belongs to a patient with a certain diagnosis. The biopsy ID is listed here again, and this number is identical to the first 5 digits of this number. The level of the biopsy, in some cases is unknown, so there will be unknown, or you have L4, L7, etc. And the event type, whether this is an enrolling biopsy or a second biopsy. You can sort of shrink a little bit the field if you don't need to have all this information available to you all the time, by clicking here on image properties. And now you have only few information available, which is image ID, name, disease, biopsy ID, level, and event type, in case you need it. So the other thing that I can do is I can go and view images through studies or through trays, and we'll go over how to build the tray. But if I have a trays available to me, I can look at cases through that. So I click on trays, I create some trays that are now, each of these trays contain biopsy, contains images from a biopsy. And I can open a tray and visualize the image. Each image, once it's open, you will see different information. So here you will have some basic information. For example, this is a silver, this is when the time was created, this is where the image is, the location of the image, the disease, the biopsy level, etc. You also have this opening halo. I would say ignore, because when you don't need that to visualize the image, you just click on the image. If you have made this, sorry. So if you want to change what you view here, you want to view different information for each image, you can go into trays, for example, and by clicking on this icon, before you were on this one, clicking on this icon, now you see all the images that belong to a specific tray. And each of this image will come with some information. If you want to change the information that you see, you click on this wheel, and this is what will appear. And here you have the information, a list of information that you can select. So if you don't need the barcode, if you don't need the name, you deselect those and you select, for example, disease, biopsy ID, level, etc. You can select each time up to 4. You have up to 4 choices, and they will also appear here. So the choices that you have selected will appear here. So let's say we deselect this and select other information. Now the list of information that we want to have will be different. They will appear here. And when you go back to your list of images under a given tray, now you see the information that you want to have available to you as you look at the case. I want to know which stain it is, the biopsy ID, the disease, and which level. When you open an image, at the bottom of the image, you will have different things that you can use. So first of all, here you have the wheel that will, and if you click on that, it gives you several choices. So you can click and unclick each of them, but do you want to see the thumbnail? Do you want to see the scale bar, the label, etc.? Do you want to synchronize images? You can open for up to 4 images at a time. Do you want to synchronize them? And on this side, you will have other functions. You can open a full-size view, a fit view. This magnification, you can change the magnification. You can see the scale. You can click on the hand here, and that allows you to move around in the image. You can download a snapshot of the image, or you can download a link and copy to the clipboard and share the current view. And and we go over. When we open the DPR, we go over all these things again. If I want to search for a case, I can do it in couple of different ways. In the toolbar, I can type the case that I want to view and click, and that the case will appear. So I can do that across all folders. Or I can do an advanced search by clicking on advanced search. And then I can use different option. Contains, I can look at case by the disease, and then I want to have all the H&E that are within the FSGS cases, etc., all within a biopsy ID. So I can choose more specifics. How do I, so once for example, I want to visualize a case. So I type the biopsy ID. And now I have all the biopsies, all the images for that case available to me. To view them, I want to make a tray. So I can select some of these images. I can select all, and I can copy to a tray. If I don't have any tray made before, this is what it will look like. So there's nothing here. I want to create a tray. I'll type the name of the thing that I want to give to that tray. I type enter, and then I click select. If I already have made a tray, I will see all the tray that I made before. And again, I want to create a new tray. I want to give it a number, click enter, and then click select. One thing, every time you make a tray, this is a good way to view cases if you're scoring. So you can pull out all the images from one case, because now they are in the EM folder, they are in the Wolfslide images folder. The images are not by patient, they are just all in one folder. So, but every time you create a tray, you score, I would recommend to delete the tray. You don't want to end up with 200 trays. It will make no sense. So always keep the number. You know, today I want to score for 3 cases. I make 3 trays, I score, and as I'm done, I delete them. How do I visualize image from a tray? I select the tray that I want to review. This is what will appear, a list of images. Again, if I click on this, I always see all the images that are available to me. If I click on this other one, I will just see the metadata, or one image at a time. But I can open one image at a time, clicking on the plus, and this is what I will see. But for example, I want to look at more than one image, then I click on multiple images up to 4, and this is what I will see. you know that you are viewing one image because there is so the image that you can look at and go zoom in, zoom out would be the image that has the blue bar on top. But you can also synchronize all these images and zoom in and zoom out as all together. If you want to deselect one image, you click on the minus, and you want to pull out another image here, you click on the plus. An image that you haven't looked at yet and you want to look at together with the other three, you click on the plus on a different image. So these are a few things, and now maybe we can just do it live together. Again, I'm in studies. If I will go to tray, it would change to tray, but let me go back to studies. So I want to click on the DPR. I have my disease folders plus escrow. I want to look at image change disease as only, as this. So minimal change disease, I have my two folders, the OSLI images and the electron microscopy. I want to look at the OSLI images. I'm in group A, I click on A. And I'll have all the images available to me. And as you can see here, they're not organized by biopsy ID. I can change that by clicking here, and now they're organized by biopsy ID. So the 0_1005 are all on top, and then if I scroll down, I have the 1006, and if I go down, I have the 10119 together, etc. But these are all OSLI images, no EM. So I can look for images using this filter, or I can create a tray. And to create the tray, I go here, I type the number of the tray that I want to create, 0_1006. It's searching. All right, so when I have a tray and I search under the biopsy ID, that will bring me to a place where I see all the OSLI images, but also all the EMs. And I can choose now to put these images in a tray that contains some of the images or all of them. I want them all. So I click on select all, and I copy to a tray. I already have that number, but it's okay. Create a tray. I would do 0, copy, just so it's different from the other one. Click enter, and now you can click select. And if I go into trays, I see the one that I just created. So this one gives you, this icon allows you to see all the images that are present in the tray. I want to open one image. I just click on the plus. I want to open 2 images. I can synchronize them. I want to look at this one only, for example. I want to take a snapshot for my record, right? So here, actually, there's somebody put in a old-fashioned annotation, a dot. So I can take a snapshot by clicking here, and I can download it. If I want to save a link that always takes me back to this image and to this magnification and to this specific glomerulus, for example, I'm interested in because there is a segmental sclerosis and I want to document it. And this will be particularly relevant to CureGN core scoring people. I will use this function, which will create a link, and this link can be copied into the CureGN core scoring CRF as a documentation of what used to be the annotation that was done by dropping a pin and then typing the level and the image where this was found, etc. So this is now a 2-click annotation, and the annotation will be in the CRF and will now be visible to any other pathologist who opens this image.
I have a question about that, Laura. So I understand that you're marking the specific location and that you get back to that specific thing, but how is it determined what you called that lesion? Because some lesions, there might be differences of opinion of how we label them. So how is this labeled?
It will be recorded in the CRF. So there is no labeling of all
so
slides.
This is just marking the site. It's not saying why you're marking it.
Yes, this is marking the site.
Yeah, can I answer that a little bit? So when you get that, say it's a lesion of endocapillary hypercellularity, you're going to paste it into the endocapillary hypercellularity place where we used to put the level on the CRF. So by where it is in the CRF will show you what lesion you're marking. So if you have a tip lesion, it's going to go in the tip lesion free text area in the CRF. If it's an endocapillary hypercellularity, it will go in the endocapillary hypercellularity place. So you'll know by where it is in the CRF what lesion you're highlighting.
Okay, and is there going to be a sequence of PowerPoints and direction on how we do the leap from the DPR to the CRF?
So the way you do scoring, you probably keep open the DPR on one screen and the CRF in the other screen. And so all you have to do, again, is copy, share a link to clipboard. Let's say that, let's say that this is the CRF. I don't have the CRF open, but it will be the same thing, right? You copy it and immediately you can bring it up exactly where you were. So it brings you exactly on the glomerulus on the same magnification, you copy the link. And so once you copy this in the CRF, anyone who wants to look at it again, all it has to do is just open the link. It's a lot easier than what you used to do for annotation. You can search for the annotation, drop a pin, and then type. Now here is click and copy, and then simply copy on the right space in the CRF where you said that this is segmental sclerosis.
So in other words, you want to have the DPR open and the CRF open at the same time, so you can just copy paste the actual URL link, and it will take you exactly to that. It's actually a much more elegant solution, and then you don't have to put anything on the slide.
That means we all need to be justified in having two giant, big, beautiful screens, right, to work with.
Well, the other thing you can do is, of course, just have a Word document open underneath. And if you do that, just click on the Word icon, put the Word document down, put ECH, FSGS, whatever, and then later copy it to the.
But elegantly, eloquently, it justifies having two beautiful big screens open, doesn't it?
Well, maybe you can get your department to get you one.
I'm
I have that at work, but this is stuff that often is done on weekends and late at night because I don't live at work 100% of the time.
Yeah. No, I mean, you can just have a Word document. Actually, you can, I can email you the CRF and you can put it in there and then copy it over. I mean, there's lots of different ways to copy paste stuff, but the point is it doesn't put a mark on the slide, on the whole slide image, and then it's not, it's virgin, so many people can use it for many different uses.
My suggestion in general is that there are so many entries that copy here, copy there, copy again is just a setup for
Errors,
for errors. So, I mean, obviously, a laptop is probably not the best place where to do this because you have only one screen and it's not even that big most of the time. But every time I have to do scoring, I use my computer at home or at work has two screens because one is the scoring sheet and one is the viewing screen. But obviously, everybody does it differently. But I think that it may generate errors using too many spreadsheets and then copy them. So so this is from a tray. You can open an image from the main folder, obviously. But again, if you have to search for an image to do the scoring, I would suggest to make a tray. That would be the safest way because you know that in that tray there are only images that have a certain biopsy ID because that's a biopsy type. You don't accidentally score another biopsy with, and it's a lot more manageable.
Laura, has the rotation piece for the images been fixed?
No, I will let Indica maybe discuss that. No, I'm still not able to rotate.
Yeah, because that's kind of an issue. If like when you had opened the 4 images, one of the images was 90 degrees from the other ones. So if you want to, synchronize them, you need to rotate so they're all facing the same way. So if we can't rotate, that creates a little bit of an issue with synchronizing.
Yeah, that's a limitation. I don't know when it will be, this option will be provided, but that it's not
Can
available.
the Indica person address that? Because rotating is kind of a basic issue, a basic functionality for a DPR, for any WSI visualization system. Is the Indica person still on?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's a bit of background on, I guess, how our rotation is set up and sort of why it is the way it is currently. I don't think our product specialist is on the call to be able to talk about the roadmap or a timeline for changing anything. But so in sort of the background of our image viewer for both Halo and Halo Link, the annotations that are made and the image are essentially 2 XY planes laid over top of one another. And so when you rotate the image plane rotates, but the annotation plane would not rotate. And so when we get into image analysis or annotations with images, which is 2 of the other use cases kind of outside of what we're presenting here today, rotating an image after analysis is done or after annotations are done kind of cause those 2 planes to diverge and will essentially make the markup image or the annotations useless. So the viewer role within the software doesn't allow for rotation currently. And that's sort of set there so that if there is analysis, if there are annotations, that they can't inadvertently be changed. You know, typically someone's coming into the system as a viewer, the viewer on a study, they may not have sort of that background or that experience or knowledge that rotating will cause those issues. And so we have a limited sort of permission there. So we did get the note, and it is in our product team's hands currently, looking at how that can be addressed. So, you know, one of the potential solutions would be, you know, instead of the viewer permission level, we're bringing them in at a higher permission level, but then that also sort of brings some other questions into play as far as access to the images and potentially adding annotations that you don't want there and things like that. So happy to discuss with the team sort of offline outside of the training session, you know, what the options look like and maybe make some decisions from there. And then we can also sort of talk to the product team on our end. But I don't think that the viewer permissions will be changed anytime soon, just kind of based on the fact that it is problematic for a large percentage of our user base when rotation is performed.
Any other question or anything else that you want to explore?
Laura, is there a MOP for this? And if so,
Yeah.
or if not, when will it be available and where will it be available?
MOP, it's basically been finalized. I think that we have everything we need to have there now. So I think it can be shared, correct, Colleen?
Yep. And I'm thinking Basecamp. Does that work, Cindy?
Yeah, I mean, it would be nice maybe to put it in the documents, maybe in course scoring and the pathology committee, or, you know, and then I don't know where you want to put it in Neptune, but for Cure, that would make sense because those are the people who mostly are going to have to access it. Unless somebody has a better idea, I'm just making that up.
All right, I'll plan for that, and I'll check with Krista on where to put it for the Neptune side.
You know, the other place it will need to go is for pathology in CureGN diabetes, because even though that DPR is not available yet, it will be at some point, and those folks are going to need it as well.
Yeah. Yep.
Aren't those the same people in CureGN?
Yes, it's there's 4 of us, and all of us are in Cure, so you don't have to repeat this, but thank you.
But I can put it in that Basecamp as well.
Yeah.
Yep.
So any other question? It went a lot faster than last time.
That's because the software worked.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
The image is loaded.
The image is loaded. There was a PowerPoint that summarized everything. So, all right.
Look, can I ask one thing? Did you want me to send an email to the DPR admin at Arbor Research as well as to Laura with the people both in Cure and in CureGN diabetes who need access to the DPR?
Yes.
Would that be helpful?
Yes, because if you don't, then I will be reaching out.
Yeah,
so,
no, I'll do that this morning before I forget.
Okay, great. That'll be my list that I compare against when I get the individual request.
It would be easier to have the list and so check off on people. There's piecemeal of email.
Yep.
But at the same, I would do the same for Neptune, of course. All right. So
Great.
if there are no other questions, we can log off and the PAC committee can discuss further the core scoring. Unless they are done too. They don't need discussion. All right then. Well, thank you everybody. And if there are questions, I email the DPR team and we go from there.
Yeah. Thank you, Laura and Colleen, for all of the hard work you've put into this, and the rest of the team. I know this was a very large effort.
Yeah. All right. Thank you.
All right.
Thanks,
Thank you,
Laura.
everybody.
Thanks, Colleen. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Lauren,